Okay guys, this is something that I'm actually really excited to talk about because before I moved here, I had this idea in my head that you can live a really good life here in Thailand on a shoestring budget. And I've been here going on 3 months now, and I'm gonna let you know my experience. And if you really can live like a king for $1,000 a month or less here in Thailand, specifically Bangkok. So when people live here in Thailand, they just keep a couple things in mind as to where their money's going to go to. So rent, food, and that's normally all that they budget for. They don't take into account all the other things that you can spend your money on. For example, I'm going to be taking the BTS from where I live to Siam, BTS Siam, and that's about $1 each way. That adds up, especially if you go on the subway 3, 4, 5 times a day. Keep that in mind. Yep, that's very common where you're just 10 seconds too late to get onto the train. That happens a lot, at least to me. So as you saw, I was a few seconds late trying to get onto the train, so I have to wait for the next one. Trains here, I'd say run about every 7 or 8 minutes. It's actually really efficient. And I mean, it's a very good way of traveling around here. I'm not going to BTS Siam. I decided to go to BTS Prompong. That is where the M Quarter Mall is, because I need to pick up some new gear for myself and my cell phone and my cameras and all that good stuff that I have. So before I go buy the stuff I need for myself, I think I'm going to go ahead and buy some food here, and we'll see what it costs to eat at the M Quarter. Definitely is a step up from street food, so you are going to spend a little bit more, but it's still manageable. Let's go take a look. This place I really love. Toko Ichibanya. I used to go to this place in Los Angeles. This is actually a lot cheaper than it is in LA, but you're still spending, $5, $6, $7 per meal here. Don't know if I'm going to eat here. I want to see what else is out there in the food court. Look at that. That's about $5 for fried shrimp with curry and rice. If you are trying to save some money when you eat out, try to go to places that have a service charge. There's a lot of places out there that have a service charge of roughly 17%. So if you're spending 100 baht on a meal, you're now spending 117 baht, and that definitely adds up. So that's one thing that you may want to avoid when you eat out. Greek yogurt bar. So you can see, it can be pricey at the malls, but there are definitely a lot of budget options. If you are trying to live like a king, so to speak, and save some money when you eat out, definitely stop by the food courts. Every mall has one. This is where you can get budget priced food without any service charges, so you're going to save a lot of money there. They'll say either food hall or food court. So always look for that before you choose a restaurant if you want to get the best bang for your buck, or best bang for your baht. So I went a little overboard. I ordered 2 dishes. I ordered scrambled eggs with crab over rice, which was the equivalent of $2.40. And then I ordered noodles with pork balls. That was 70 baht. That's equivalent to $2.10. And then a bottle of water, which is 60 cents. Altogether, that entire meal that I'm showing you came out to a little bit over $5, $5.10. So that might be a little bit more than a person may want to spend per meal. You can definitely spend $1, $2 per meal plus a drink. I just happen to spend $5, but I ordered 2 full-size meals because I'm hungry. Let's eat. When you go to the name brand stores like these, you're definitely going to spend a lot of money when you shop for clothes. I do not recommend you go shopping at the name brand stores. Keep it local, keep it cheap. living like a king means that you can buy anything you want, whenever you want. And for most expats or foreigners who live here in Thailand, that's not necessarily the case. One thing I never thought about when I moved here to Thailand was clothes. I don't think anyone ever thinks about that. You don't want to wear the same clothes every day for the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months. Now, you can buy clothes which are relatively inexpensive. We're talking, $3, $4, $5 for a shirt, maybe $5 for a pair of shorts, but the quality isn't that good. Clothes, if you're like me and you like to shop a little bit, it's very possible to spend hundreds of dollars a month on new clothes, $100 a month on new clothes. So that's something that you have to take into account when you're trying to keep a budget in place. At least for me, I want new clothes. I don't want to be that normal guy who lives here who just wears a pair of shorts, a beat up shirt, and some sandals. I'm not trying to perpetuate the stereotype of the foreigner here, but you do see that quite a bit. So I like to dress a little bit nicer, and that's why I do have a budget for clothes, and a lot of times I exceed that budget because, contrary to popular belief, it can be expensive here in Thailand. It can be very expensive. As you can see, the cost of clothing can really add up when you shop here at the malls here in Thailand. You saw a lot of clothes for 250, 300, 500, 2,000 baht for just one item of clothing. And these are budget stores like Zara and H&M. You can buy clothes on the streets, which are relatively inexpensive, and there are some discount stores in town. But normally with those you're getting, maybe some slightly damaged goods, overstocks. These are first runs here that I showed you. But, you have to take into account the cost of clothing. It's more than just food and rent. And clothing really will bust your budget. See those pastries there? I would like to get a pastry, and I could if I wanted to. But those pastries are 99 baht, which is the equivalent of $3. So it's kind of hard to live like a king for $1,000 or less, but it is still possible. Let's see. One thing you can do for fun here is take the escalator. It's kind of a ride, right? Other added costs that you have to take into account: ATM fees. When I first moved here, I was using my Chase ATM card, and that was costing me roughly $7 to take money out from the banks here, plus an additional $5 to $7 from my Chase bank account, and then they would tack on an additional foreign transaction fee. So if you're taking out $100, it was very possible to pay $20 just to be able to take money out of the ATMs here. That's why I got myself a local bank card. It's pretty much a must here. So those ATM fees alone could really cover the cost of food for an entire day just for doing one ATM transaction. That's one way you can save money, just by getting a local bank card. When you're trying to survive on $1,000 or less per month, everyday purchases that you don't even think of can really add up. For example, coconut water. This cost me $1. Great deal, but if you get one a day, that's $30 a month. On top of that, let's say you want to get some coffee or milk tea. Those can run you anywhere from $1 to $5 per serving. You go to Starbucks once a day, you just blew $150 in drinks a month, and that really eats into your budget. It might be worth it though. At least for this, it's really, really good. Moving here, I really did have it in my mind that I could live off, you know, $800 a month, $700 a month. And then I landed here. And then after 1 month, I knew that my budget of $700-800 a month was just not going to fly. I'm just going to give you a rundown of my expenses. I pay $450 a month for a 1-bedroom apartment that's 45 square meters, which is roughly 500 square feet. That is tiny. But because of that, my expenses when it comes to electricity and water is relatively inexpensive. My utilities run me about $50 a month. Water, I think that's included. I have yet to get my water bill, so who knows. Internet is running me $20 a month. So you figure $70 a month in utilities for a basic 1-bedroom or studio apartment. I'm paying $450 a month. So that is $520 base expenses. I've probably been averaging about, and it is kind of sad, about $20 to $30 a day going out. Now, there have been days where I've spent a heck of a lot more. Today, I have probably spent about $60 or $70. Had to get some gear. I just got this, LED light. So hopefully the lighting is really good here because I'm trying to make these videos better and better as time goes on. Eating out, I showed you what I ate today. That was about $5. You can go to the grocery stores and buy meals, prepped meals that you just put in the microwave for, $1. And then after 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, these grocery stores will mark down those foods to about 50 cents, 40, 50 cents. So that's another way you can save money here. But when you add in other expenses like coffee, I love milk tea, so I get lots of milk tea. I probably get one a day. That's going to be $1. Coffee, as I mentioned earlier, that's going to run anywhere from $1 to $5. It just depends on where you go. If you go to Cafe Amazon, which is a local coffee chain, or if you go to Starbucks, you're spending $3, $4, $5 a drink. But hey, Starbucks is Starbucks everywhere in the world. And they have some really nice ones here too. If you're going to a street stall to buy some coffee, then you're probably getting it for about $1, 80 cents, around there. Hot or cold, it could be, I don't think they sell drip coffee. I haven't seen drip, but your latte, your cappuccinos, those are going to run around that price. BTS and taxis are definitely going to run you a few dollars per day. If you are spending $3 a day taking the BTS or taxi, now you're spending $100 a month just on transportation. And this is just going places locally. If you have to do an immigration run and you're taking a taxi over there, that's going to run you, a good $10 from where you live if you're in central Bangkok, because it is not close. One other thing that I have not touched upon at all is nightlife. That is something that still really isn't taking off over here. We just got off of curfew. The bars and nightclubs are still closed. They are not serving alcohol past 9 o'clock, at least legally. And the thing with that, if you like to drink alcohol, then you're going to be spending a lot more. Beers on average go for about 100 bahts, which is about $3. Now, if you are drinking 3-4 beers in one night, that's $12. And if you're doing that every night, and a lot of people do this every night, you are now spending upwards of $400 just in alcohol. And that is just buying 3 or 4 drinks. Now, moving here, I am single. I'm not seeing anyone. But imagine when you add up all of those expenses and now you're dating, you're going to buy your date food, you're going to buy your date drinks. And based upon at least what my monthly expenses are, so far, rents, utilities, internet, that's $520 per month. If you're looking at eating out, just food, conservatively, at least for me, I'm spending $450 a month. That's averaging $15 a day. Now, as I mentioned before, you can easily spend $1 or $2 per meal. You know, if you want to eat like the locals, maybe buy a prepackaged meal, buy meals when they're half off or heavily discounted. You can live off of $5 or less. But think about it like this: wherever you're living, let's say it's the United States, and I use that as a reference because I'm from the United States, you can save money by, making pasta, spaghetti every day if you want. If you want to eat rice and beans, you can do that. You can eat ramen noodles every single day, 20 cents a pack, 15 cents a pack. You can live cheap in the States if you want to, but you're not going to like it. And when it comes to local food, I love Thai food. I thought I can eat it every day, but after about a week, I wanted to get that hamburger. I wanted to get a pizza. Hamburgers are not cheap here. If you're going to McDonald's or let's say Burger King, for a combo set, you're looking at about $6 to $10 for a combo meal. Let's say you want to go to Taco Bell. I saw a combo at Taco Bell where it's just 2 tacos, a soda, and a bag of chips, and that was running $7 to $8. So if you're eating like a Westerner, the price of food is going to be quite a lot. If you are trying to live like a local, it really is possible to survive on $200 to $300 a month. Now keep in mind, that's strictly food. When you add in soda, water, maybe one beer with your meal if you want that, that's really, really just breaking your budget if you're trying to live for $1,000 or less. Other expenses that I never planned on when I moved here. Dental work. I went ahead and got some teeth cleaning. I got my teeth whitened, and that ran about $150. It was a specialized procedure, which in the States runs about $300, and I got it for about half the price here, so I was happy with that. Medical care. I hurt my back about a month ago, and for 1 week, actually about a week and a half, I had a hard time moving. I went and saw the doctor. It was very, very quick, very painless, so to speak. They actually took care of me right away. They gave me some painkillers. They put me in some sort of rehab, which runs me about $20 per session, but they helped stretch me out. My back is feeling a lot better now. But one thing I do need to tell you, it's not like America. The painkillers they prescribe here, they don't really work. It would be the equivalent of your doctor prescribing you 2 aspirin or 2 ibuprofen. Yeah, you're not going to get the Vicodin or anything like that here. It's they don't prescribe the hard stuff or the good stuff. But still, medical care is cheap. It did run me, I think the first time I saw the doctor was about $50, $60, and they saw me right away. So I was really, really happy with that. So if you have to see the doctor or if you have to go to the dentist, plan on spending $50 or $100 each time. That's another expense that people don't plan for, like myself. Medical insurance. I bought medical insurance, and I think that ran me about $200 for 3 months. And for some reason, my medical insurance was not accepted at the hospital, so I had to pay out of pocket. I don't know if I have to submit the paperwork to get reimbursed. That's all new to me. But if you're going to get medical insurance, plan on spending about $200 for 3 months. Probably about $600 to $800 for an entire year of medical insurance. And by the way, from what I understand, you still need medical insurance to come in here, at least COVID-19 medical, to fly into Bangkok. So that's another expense that you have to keep in mind. I keep thinking of more things before I end the video. Well, anyway, the main reason why I moved here was to pursue MMA and Muay Thai training. So about 4 or 5 days a week, I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai training. That's running me $200 a month. I plan for that. But what I didn't plan for was wanting to join a gym. So let's say you want to sign up at a really nice gym, like a Virgin or a Jet. You're looking at about $100 a month. Immigration runs every 3 months because I'm on an education visa. I have to go and extend my visa, and that's running $60 a month. I take Thai language classes, and that runs about, I think it's about $200 a month, and I'm taking 5 courses over a period of 8 months. So, I mean, this is all really adding up. For me, I can't live like a king for under $1,000. My monthly expenses pretty much add up to about $2,000 to $2,500. Yeah, it's not exactly a cheap lifestyle. So, in closing, can you really live like a king in Bangkok for less than $1,000 a month? Like a king? Absolutely not. It is impossible to live like a king for $1,000 or less. Can you survive for $1,000 or less? Absolutely. There are apartments here that you can get fully furnished for about $200 in the heart of Bangkok. They're going to be older style buildings. They're not going to look appealing or modern, but when you factor in rental, let's say $200 a month, if you're budgeting on food, and let's say you're spending $10 a day, which I think even for locals is kind of a lot of money, but if you're spending $10 a day and $200 a month in rent, that's $500 right there. If you want to grab, a couple of beers or a drink with your meal, now you're spending about, $100 to $200 a month on top of that. So you're looking at about $700. If you start dating, I'm sure that's going to raise the cost substantially because no one wants to be a cheapskate. At least I don't. And if you're spending $100 baht on yourself for a meal, or let's say $200 with a meal and a beer, and you bring a date along and they get the same thing, that's another $200. So now you're looking at $12 for 2 people. And let's say you want to add on 1 or 2 additional drinks. It could very easily become a $20, $30, $40 date, depending upon where you go. Now, if you're just eating street food, it's very possible to, 2 people, 200 baht or less, but it's not going to be anything nice or extravagant. My advice, and keep in mind, I'm very new here myself. I don't even know if I should be offering advice. If you want to live relatively well, Bangkok probably is not the place to move to. I would look at other parts of the country and the other parts of the country that are very popular with tourists or expats would be Chiang Mai, would be Pattaya, Phuket. Those are places that you want to move to if you want to make your dollar go a long way. Here in Bangkok, it's just not going to happen. And in my opinion, realistically, just to live a somewhat comfortable lifestyle with modern amenities, with eating at nicer restaurants, maybe 2 or 3 times a week, you really are looking at $1,500 a month. $2,000 a month, you can live very well. If you want to live like a king or more, or better, I should say, now you're looking at about $3,000 a month. So guys, that's the end of the video. Tell me what you think. Am I being overly pessimistic on the cost of living here? If you have any experiences on living like a king for $1,000 or less, please comment below. And hey, I wouldn't mind doing a collaboration with one of my YouTube followers and seeing how you live on an everyday basis. I think a lot of people would like to see that, and I myself would. So this is Bruce with Eat, Drink, Travel. I'm signing off. Hope to see you around the city.